Hello everyone, Bobster1984 back again, and I'm going to do a video that's a little bit different today because I'm actually going to talk about NFL. Now a lot of you probably aren't followers of NFL. If you are, let me know who you support, blah blah blah. As you can see, I'm an Atlanta Falcon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do these every week. I'm going to see what they're like. Bear in mind that I'm not 100% what's the word? Knowledgeable, maybe? As much as many people who probably do these videos every Sunday or every Thursday, because I've realised I've missed one game out, which was the Redskins against the Giants. But yes, I'm going to do a little prediction video because I just want to see how I do with it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then fuck me. But never mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a prediction video on the NFL games this Sunday and, basically on week 3. So, as I say, I've already missed out the Redskins against the Giants, which finished a 32-21 victory for the Giants, So, I'm going to do my predictions, and I'm going to try and keep a tally every week, see how I do. So, it's just a bit of fun, really, for me. So, if it works off, if you'll enjoy it, obviously let us know. If you want to leave a comment as well in the comments box at the bottom, let us know who you support. See if there's anyone actually out there who isn't from America who actually follows it, because it is getting bigger as far as I'm concerned, NFL. But anyway, as I say, I'm an Atlanta Falcon, so I think it would only be right for me to start off with my team. We play the Cowboys tonight. It's one of those where a couple of weeks ago, I was in Vegas and I watched the Cowboys game against the Giants, and I didn't really think they looked anything special. And then obviously Des Bryant gets his injury, breaks his foot, but they come back and win with the last minute touchdown pass from Tony Romo to Jason Witten. Now that was bad for my fantasy team. Has anyone got a fantasy team? I left Witten out that weekend and he got like 20 points, so yes, that was my fault. So yeah, when Des Bryant got injured, I was like, yeah, come on, this is getting better for us. Obviously, playing them in week 3, and then last week Tony Romo gets injured. So now the complexion of the game's completely changed. Where I think a lot of people are thinking that the Falcons are favourites to win this game. I believe that we should be favourites, to be honest, because if you've lost your best wideout and you've got your best quarterback who is obviously out as well, your team is, no matter how good your backups are going to be, your team is going to suffer. So I believe with the form that Julio Jones is on, and that is the name of the number in the name that I'm wearing today, and it will be on until the game is finished tonight. I believe with Julio in such amazing form that with Matt Ryan as well, hopefully, we're playing in an indoor stadium. We're playing obviously in an indoor stadium ourselves at home in the Georgia Dome. I believe we probably will go ahead and win the game. I'm not going to go for predictions on scores, but I do believe the Falcons will win by maybe 3 to 6 points, I would say. So that's maybe a bold prediction, but we'll see later on. The next game I'm going to go for is a divisional game, which is the Bengals against the Ravens. With this one again, it's a funny one. You've got the Bengals who've had a decent start, and the Ravens who lost both games so far. I've actually made, I think, basically last week, one of the tight end Crockett Gilmore, which is the best name I've ever heard in my life. I actually traded him into my team this week, which I think is actually a mistake because I don't know if he's going to do anything this week. So I'm hoping, but I am actually going to go for the Ravens to win purely because they're at home and they need to get their season underway. The next game I'm going to go for is the Saints at the Panthers. Now these are the two teams that I can't stand for obvious reasons. Because they are in my division, which is the NFC South. So, what do I think is going to happen here? Well, it's apparently Drew Brees isn't going to play, which is good news for me being a Falcon. I want the Saints to lose, but I also want the Panthers to lose because they're also 2-0 with us at the Falcons. So, I think this is going to be a really, really poor game. It's going to be a very... especially if Brees is out, I don't think there's going to be many points scored from the Saints. The Panthers traditionally don't score a lot of points, but they have got a capable quarterback in Cam Newton. I do believe the Panthers will win. I think they'll probably win that by maybe 5 to 10 points. I'm not sure, but it'll be a Panthers win. Next, it is the Buccaneers away to the Texans. The Buccaneers surprised everybody with a win last week, and it's one of those where the Texans are actually a very good side with a very good defense, but it's also you've got a rookie quarterback in Jameis Winston, which is obviously the Buccaneers. What are they going to do? This is these kind of games where I don't have 100% knowledge in it, but I do believe the Texans will win that one. I think the Buccaneers, even though they've had a good result last week, will probably just fade away and lose. I'm not going to go for a point prediction on that one. Next up, we've got the Jaguars away to the Patriots. Now, I mean, you might as well. There's no point even making a prediction on that one. The Patriots are going to win. It's going to be a comprehensive win. The Jaguars are a poor side. Patriots, unfortunately, have got Tom Brady back, and he looks like he's on fire for the first 2 weeks, especially with the Gronk. So, it's going to be a win quite comprehensively. The Jaguars obviously had a good result against the Dolphins last week, but the Dolphins aren't as strong as the Patriots, and I think the Patriots, especially being at home, will go for that one. The next one, the Eagles, who have lost both games so far this season, one including one loss against us, which was a good one because I was in Vegas to watch it. They are away to the Jets, who have made a really surprising unbeaten start to the season. So, what do I think is going to happen in that game? I do believe the Jets will win again. I don't know why I'm going for the Jets to win, to be brutally honest, but I think the Eagles, from what I've seen so far this season, have been relatively poor. Last week against the Cowboys, I mean, I think Murray only got I don't even think he got 10 rushing yards. I mean, it's unheard of. The next one is the Raiders away to the Browns. Now, I know the Browns there's been a bit of excitement recently about Manziel. I know he took them to a win last week, but the Raiders as well, I mean, they're not doing too badly themselves considering last year was so poor, and obviously they beat the Ravens last week. And I don't know, I've just got a funny feeling that the Raiders will win this one. I don't think that I know Manziel will probably start again, but he's nowhere near the finished article, as everyone knows. I just don't think he's gonna produce anything major, to be honest, and I think it's going to be the Raiders, but again, I could be completely wrong. This is just my opinion, and it could be a load of bullshit, but never mind, I'm giving it anyway. The next one is the Colts away to the Titans. Now, the Titans were absolutely shocking last season, and the Colts have been absolutely shocking so far this season. So, what happens here? I think the Colts will win. I think they'll sort themselves out. I think Andrew Luck has had a pretty poor start to the season. I think Mariota as well has actually been alright, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to do anything against the Colts, who desperately need to get that win on the board. So I'm going to go for the Colts there. The next one is the Chargers away to the Vikings. Now, the Vikings are a team who I thought were going to lift off with Peterson coming back, but it hasn't quite happened, to be honest. He had a poor first game of the season. Last week, I think he redeemed himself a bit better, more so because I've got him in one of my fantasy leagues, so he better do more this week. But I do think the Vikings will win, purely because I think with them being at home, Peterson's third game, it's one of those where he's probably going to want to make an impression, and I think it'll probably happen today. The next game is the Steelers away to the Rams. Now, with the Steelers, they've had Le'Veon Bell out, obviously through suspension, and lost the first game. They weren't outplayed against the Patriots. They destroyed, I can't remember who they played last week, but they destroyed, who did they play last week? See, this is how I'm an amateur, you see. They destroyed the 49ers, which is good because I can't stand the 49ers. But anyway, they're playing the Rams away. I think it'll be another win for the Steelers. And the Rams have started off quite poorly this year. But the Steelers, with having Roethlisberger in so good form, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell now back. I mean, how are they going to stop that, to be honest? But it should be a good game, actually. I'm not going to obviously watch it myself because I'm going to watch the Falcons game, but it'll be good to watch some highlights later on. The next one is the 49ers away to the Cardinals. Now, the 49ers had a great win against the Vikings in the first week. I just remembered who the Vikings were playing. And then got absolutely humped, as I've just noticed, against the Steelers. So, I'm not a huge fan of the 49ers. I can't really give a particular reason for it, but I'm not a huge fan of Kaepernick either. I don't think they're going to have a great time against the Cardinals, to be honest. I'm going to go for a Cardinals win. Next one is the Bills against the Dolphins. Now, in this one, I actually want the Dolphins to win, but whether or not they will is another factor, because they've got the quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, who I believe has got a lot of potential, but he's also got a lot of potential to not be very good. The Bills' defence has been quite good this season so far, although they've conceded quite a few points, but they have played the Patriots. I think LaShawn McCoy will have a field day, but it all depends on how good the Dolphins' defence can stand up. I mean, the Dolphins' defence is actually quite good. It was quite good last season, but I think the Bills will probably have a little bit too much, and that'll be a 3-point game, I believe. Well, I'm going to predict it is anyway. Now, the next one's the Bears away to the Seahawks. Now, here we go. Who in the right mind would have ever believed that this would have been two teams who have lost both games? The Seahawks lost both, but they're at home. They've played away in the last two. It all depends whether Lynch is going to play. I believe he's a game-time decision, but I do believe even without Lynch, they should have enough to beat the Bears, because I believe Cutler is out injured. So I'm going to go for the Seahawks to win, but I'm not going to go for a high scorer in that one. I think it'll probably be maybe a 7-pointer, but it'll be a low-scoring game. The next one is the Broncos. They play through the night here. Obviously, it's a late-night game in America, but the Broncos are away to the Lions. In this one, obviously, I've got quite a bit of interest, because in my fantasy teams, I've got Peyton as one of the quarterbacks. I don't believe he's going downhill as fast as a lot of people are slating him off to be. I hope he isn't anyway, because I do believe, a legend of the game such as him, doesn't deserve to just go out in a whimper. So I'm hoping he pulls it back a little bit. Obviously, I've got Thomas and Sanders as my wideouts as well in another team, so I'm hoping that they both have good games. And the Lions as well have had a very iffy start. Stafford, again, a quarterback who could be great but could be poor in another day. He doesn't seem to be getting the ball out as much to Megatron, Calvin Johnson, as much as he should be. So I think that could happen with them being at home. It'll be a very close game, but I am going to go for the Broncos to sneak it. And the final game for week 3 is the Chiefs away to the Packers. Packers have obviously made an unbeaten start so far, even though they've had quite bad injuries, especially with Jordy Nelson with that knee injury. But when you've got a quarterback like Rodgers, you've got a chance to win every game, and you've got obviously a running back like Eddie Lacy. The Chiefs will provide probably the sternest test of the Packers so far. I mean, I know there was a good game against the Seahawks last week, but I think it'll be a close one. But I do believe the Packers will win, and that is every game this week. A lot of waffle, like I say. I'm not 100% on everything, but I am going to get there. It's just one of those games I've just completely fell in love with, as you can imagine, and it's hopefully going to be a good weekend for my Falcons as well. So rise up, Falcons! Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you later.